Case Files, where we dive into our players. In today's episode, we're going to take a closer look at Calais Campbell, the defensive end / defensive tackle from the Baltimore Ravens. But first, if you want to do a huge favor for your boy by hitting that like button, and if you want to dislike this video, hit that dislike button. It won't hurt your boy's feelings. Well, maybe just a little bit. If you guys like what I do on this channel, hit that subscribe button. It helps out with the empire grow tremendously. So on that note, let's continue with the episode. I was surprisingly shocked that the Baltimore Ravens didn't play a 3-4 scheme. They play a 4-3 scheme instead. I was very fascinated in where they're going to put in key position for Calais Campbell, because you can set him in the edge, you can set him in the center, you can actually put him in some linebacking positions. I've noticed the Ravens have done in the past, and I wonder how many snap counts opportunity the Baltimore Ravens will allow him to have, because he was starting for them. But remember, at his old age of 36, how much speed, how much momentum, and how much he can carry on to the battlefield. And those are very serious questions, because regardless of any position, it's very rare for a player to be over 31 to continue play in an all-league talent of level of their youth. So I was very fascinated to see how he can still contribute to this team, and it will shock you. And you guys are going to watch it and see for yourself. It's not that unbelievable. And I'm so excited for the Atlanta Falcons to finally get a pass rushing statement going on in this season. So let's just dive into the video and to see why. In Week 4 against the Buffalo Bills, Calais Campbell had an excellent game, and the Baltimore Ravens played under a 4-3-4 scheme, and I thought he was everywhere around the field, and that's what you want to see in a star player like him, especially in his age. So let's just dive into the video to see why. This was just an incredible play by Calais Campbell. If no one really saw it, full frontal focus, where he tipped the ball that wasn't 100% accurate with the throw, that the tight end Knox couldn't catch it correctly. So when he got hold of it, it just slipped out awkwardly and landed into Marlon Humphrey's hands for a pick. And I love that Calais Campbell was watching where Josh Allen was throwing, so he just stuck his hand up and made a play, even though it won't show up in the stat sheets. A lot of times we forget that sometimes you can win your individual matchups even though they get a first down. And I love that Calais Campbell still shows us he has the motor and almost gets a hit by the quarterback. But unfortunately, everyone else couldn't, catch up to Diggs to make this incredible first down. But look at this. Calais Campbell almost makes a game changer on the battlefield. But unfortunately, that's just negated because everybody just sees that incredible first down throw. Right here we have a neutral play where it's not a negative or a positive effect on Calais Campbell's part. I like that Calais Campbell pushes back the interior offensive lineman, but if you can clearly see that Calais Campbell, instead of going inside the interior to try to get after Josh Allen, he went outside to try to create pressure and maybe get a sack. But we can clearly see that Josh Allen recognized that, so he just goes straight through the middle, almost get non-contact, but I still like that Calais Campbell still tried to make a tackle. You guys are going to see this a lot when the opponents will double team Calais Campbell, because they know what he brings to the table and what he has done so far in his NFL career, where they're going to try to slow him down at all costs because he is a game changer. On this play, Calais Campbell is going to deal with another double team, and the other pass rushers are in one-on-one individual matchups, but that just shows you the magnitude that Calais Campbell brings, and they know that if they don't contain him, he will enforce this play to be incomplete. Plus, that also gives his teammate a better chance to get after the quarterback, and it shows it here on this play. Unfortunately for Calais Campbell on this play, I think he bit off more than he can chew, because he's going against the left tackle and Dion Dawkins, and then he's also going against Roger Setfold, the guard, and he did not win this matchup, unfortunately, and it just shows here clearly he just gets taken down because Calais didn't take the proper angle where he can go around Dawkins, but unfortunately he got pushed down real quick and early for that play to be negated. One thing I'm very impressed on Calais Campbell's game is that he realized he doesn't have the extreme speed to get after the quarterback if it's necessary. So what does he do? He tries to make a play by jumping up, using his long arms to tip the ball to making sure that it's either incomplete or one of his teammates like Patrick Queen to get this interception. And I love seeing Calais Campbell use different methods to making sure that this ball, it does not go into the enemy's hands. And I think that's just impressive at all cylinders. This is what I like to see in Calais Campbell, the hand-to-hand fight against his own man, and not losing focus on the main objective to get after the quarterback and pursuing him no matter what the cost is. We have another defensive excellence scheme that it won't show on the stats for Calais Campbell, because what he has done that created this pressure to get Josh Allen this sack of his, because Calais Campbell is going against two guys, number 76 and number 60, that leaves one-on-one coverage, with the other defenders taking on one-on-one coverage against the guard, running back, and right tackle. That gives Josh Allen spooked, so he has to back up, and then that leaves the other pass rusher on the right side to collect his check. In week 6, against the New York Giants, I thought Calais Campbell had a good game. Now, the Ravens' defensive scheme was a 4-3-4, and I thought he played his part pretty well, so let's just dive into the video to see why. So on this drive, you're going to see that Calais Campbell is going to use his hands to beat the Giants guard, Mark Glowinski. And when he's doing that, he affects the quarterback throw because he's ruining Daniel Jones' mechanics because he is nervous, he doesn't want to get hit, or probably worse, get a sack. But you see how Calais Campbell just bull rushed this, and then that makes Daniel Jones nervous, so he loses his accuracy and train of focus as well. Most times than not, most people will probably see this just another regular play that doesn't have any significance down or meaning to it. But for me personally, I think this is something that showcases what Calais Campbell can still do at his old age since being in the league in 2008, where we see he's the first one to react what Daniel Jones is doing, where he's going to check the ball to the running back, and he's the first one to notice that, and he's the first one to act upon it, even though he doesn't get after the running back, even though he doesn't make a tackle. But what he does is something that you just can't teach for anybody as long as you've been in the NFL for that long. He's like the Luke Kuechly, but not really the Luke Kuechly, but he is the Luke Kuechly, if you guys understand what I mean, of course. Like I stated earlier previously on the video, that he's going to get double teamed a lot because he's so well known and so well respected. That's a positive, and that's also a negative. So that's basically a double-edged sword of his own, because you want to make sure that you get everybody else one individual one-on-one matchups, but then also you want to make sure that he also dominates as well. Sometimes he does beat his double entendres, and sometimes he does not, and plays like these where he just can't do anything because he's double team and he has no backup. So on this play, it could be kind of difficult to figure out what's going on, but Calais Campbell is getting pushed back. But even still, he's getting pushed back, he still makes the tackle to make sure that the running back doesn't go through him. Plus, if you guys didn't realize, he was being double teamed as well. So the Baltimore Ravens are in a dime package formation, and they're going to blitz everybody, and so that gives Daniel Jones not enough time to make any type of throw. But even still, for some reason, Calais Campbell just falls and trips on the turf. Now, obviously, it happens to every NFL player, so it's not really looking into a big deal about it. But it's just an awkward time for him because he had an opportunity to get this sack. And even still, the corner made this incredible play to making sure that the wide receiver does not connect for a first down. But I just thought this was a very interesting outcome for Calais Campbell, and there's no blame for it at all. It just so happens it's a natural play at best. Sometimes plays like these you're gonna happen where you're not gonna set the edge properly and not get that first get off burst like you want to just circle around the defender. Unfortunately, at this time he just got stuck in the mud, as quote unquote said, and couldn't really escape from his opponent. But it happens sometimes. So on this play, Calais Campbell is going to make a huge impact to making sure they don't get a first down by getting this incredible sack, by just bending and just bull rushing the opponents and not getting stuck between the tackles, to make sure he has fluent in his motion to go straight after Daniel Jones, to make sure there's no complications, and he does a perfect job. And we can see here again where his first step is the key to making sure he does not get locked on by the guard, and then he just sees where Daniel Jones is going, and he doesn't hesitate, and he grabs him to make sure he does not get a touchdown whatsoever. Week 11 against the Carolina Panthers, Calais Campbell unfortunately had a bad game. So the Ravens defensive scheme was a 4-3-4, and this is kind of worrisome only because we have to face the Carolina Panthers twice a year. Every Falcon fans know this. So can he improve? I hope so, but it does not look good when he's going against the Carolina Panthers, and I will show you guys why. So on this play, Calais Campbell is just going to go straight. He's not going to do any trickery. He's not going to pull any outside techniques. He's just going to bulldoze to try to beat the center and one of the other guards that is preventing him to get after the quarterback. And I like his first step. I think he shows off that speed he has for whatever it's worth. But unfortunately, he just gets stuck in the mud and he doesn't really do any damage. So obviously, you have to give credit where credit's due with the offensive line for the Panthers because they did their job and Calais Campbell did his job. So it's pretty much a natural play. On this play, we're going to see how Calais Campbell tried to use his quick hands and arm length to make sure he doesn't get tied up where the ball is trying to go. Unfortunately, he doesn't get there in time because the center and one of the guards kind of blocks him and also kind of grips him well enough before when the ball is already out of one of the opponent's hands, he's not even near the facility to bring him down. At first glance, this is not a bad play by Calais Campbell. I like his first step. I like that he's using his arms to face against the guard. But unfortunately, he just gets a little bit of a wide angle that creates all this separation room where the quarterback can just easily run down the middle like this. And where Calais Campbell doesn't even have a shot to bring him down or even try to make him go into an easier direction where instead of going forward, he might go to the right side. But also, I will have to give credit where credit is due. The Carolina Panthers offensive scheme for that play was pretty good. On this play, this is a very simple, straightforward action where Calais Campbell did not beat his man enough time to get after the running back because he was holed up with the guard. So that meant that he didn't have a fighting chance to make any impactful takedowns. There's no question in my mind that it is tough to be a pass rusher, especially when quarterbacks do these type of plays where they throw the ball away, even though it could have been a sack, and this should have been a sack, but you know how the NFL works, protecting the quarterbacks from all types of situational hits. Patience is the key to be the ultimate sack master because a lot of times you're not going to win those individual matchups, but when you get those golden opportunities and when you get the correct position and the correct handstands, you have the gateway to the milk and honey to create the sack, and this was perfectly executed by Calais Campbell to get that chance to making sure that he used his swim move to a T to collect this bounty. Yet again, the Carolina Panthers offensive line, their center and the guard is blocking Calais Campbell to making sure he doesn't make any type of play, and he gets hold pretty well where Calais Campbell can't skate properly enough time to even go near the ball. In Week 14, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Calais Campbell had a good game. Now, the Ravens' defensive scheme was a 3-4-4, and I thought Calais Campbell did a good job in tackling with the limited amount of snaps he did have in this game. So let's just dive into the video to see why. We have another clip again where he is double teamed by the center and guard, but he still finds a way to make this incredible tackle. I don't know how he does it, just maybe using his brute strength, just going lower to making sure he doesn't get clipped. It's just a fantastic job on Calais Campbell's part. I'm very impressed how he can handle the bunch formation where everything is so tight in coverage and he can win his individual battle easily and still see the visual where the ball is going and makes a reaction towards it without no hesitation. We see it here again where he doesn't hesitate, he just goes for the kill, and it's just fantastic work. On this play, Calais Campbell is going to use his strength and athleticism to making sure he doesn't get pushed to the right side where everyone else is. So he quickly realizes that, and then he sees a golden opportunity when the running back actually stumbles on his own man to make this incredible tackle. Hey, it's a gimme, and I'll take it any time of the day. This was a good awareness tackle by Calais Campbell standard where he just bounced back off the tight end and saw the running back going through him, so he decided to take him down as well. So just excellent job. At first glance, you're probably thinking, well, there's nothing special about this play, and you're right, but for me to see in my own eyes that Calais Campbell still has the motor, still has the pressure, still willingly to get after the quarterback, even though he's not really doing too much damage right now. But I still like to see that, especially in his old age, that he still is not willing to give up any plays, and that's what I like to see in every snap counts because I know it gets tiring after a while. So that's all I just want to notice for you guys. This is probably one placement that a lot of people might have forgot, that Calais Campbell is not that bad in field goal blocking as well. Of course, for his size, you will hope he can do this, but it's just always fun and exciting to see him ball out in other positions, and this is just a great feeling to know that maybe the Atlanta Falcons will give him opportunities to make, field goal blocks. And it's just exciting to see this type of mentality happen. So obviously, if you can find him other ways to do permanently pure damage, hey, go for it. So what is the final verdict for Calais Campbell? Well, obviously, I think he's going to be great for the Atlanta Falcons. He's still a team leader. He still has that presence where you got to recognize him as a threat of humanity. And also, he's old. That's no question about it. Obviously, he's not going to play every single snap as a starter for the Atlanta Falcons. That's just a pure given. You don't want him to get injured, obviously, because he's a little older. His bones don't work the same. And let's not forget about his muscle memory as well. Even though he's pretty tall for, his stature, we just can't forget about that as well. Not saying he could dominate, because we can clearly see he can dominate it, but you don't want him to be in that 60 minutes type of mentality where he start losing momentum. That's all I'm saying on that subject. So the question is, how will the Atlanta Falcons use Calais Campbell? Will they use him in a 3 technique? Will they place him at the edge? Will they place him, as a nose tackle? Because of his positions are not that limited at all. Because remember, he's been playing since 2008, as defensive tackle for the Arizona Cardinals. And then he went to Jacksonville, where he really blew up as a pass rusher. And when he came to the Baltimore Ravens, he played both defensive tackle and defensive end. So I'm very curious how Ryan Nielsen will definitely use Calais Campbell for the Atlanta Falcons. And it's going to be very interesting because he might become an all-pro status once again. So that's very exciting to see, and hopefully it will come into fruition. So on that note, if you guys lasted this long to the very end of the video, thank you guys for taking your own personal time and busy schedule to watch this content. The next episode will be Scotty Miller. So what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.